Aloha, everyone, and welcome to Lillian's Vegan World. I'm your host, Lillian Cumic, coming to you live from gorgeous downtown Honolulu. I'm here to introduce you today to a very, very special guest who is out in gorgeous Maui and is causing quite a buzz there in the culinary scene. So I contacted this gorgeous girl to come on my show to tell us all about her very fan-based, wonderful vegan and vegetarian restaurant, Moku Roots. A huge welcome to my guest, Alexa Caskey. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me on.
My pleasure, Alexa. Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this and join our show today. As I just mentioned in the introduction, I'm very excited to talk to you because as soon as I reached out to people on Maui to see if anyone would, be interested in coming on, everyone pointed me towards your direction.
Awesome.
So you have this amazing vegan and vegetarian restaurant, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's primarily vegan. We have a couple things that have honey and local honey and local eggs, but there's 26 vegan things on the menu.
Mm-hmm. And you can, of course, I assume, veganize the things with honey in them, just if people let you know they don't want anything with honey in them.
Yeah, we have alternatives for sure.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us about it, Alexa. You're in Maui. You co-own this beautiful restaurant, Moku Roots.
Mm-hmm.
How did it all start?
It was kind of a crazy story. My friend that I started it with, we actually didn't really know each other. We met kind of by chance on a friend's boat, and another friend of mine who I had started this popsicle business with and I were talking about starting a restaurant. And then we met Erica on the boat, and somehow we had lived in the same town and had so many mutual friends, but just had never met for years and years. And we met this one evening, and she kind of had a similar vision. She was working at a restaurant at the time and was just kind of sick of giving sodas to kids and, that kind of thing. So she wanted to be involved in a restaurant that was a little healthier. So then we all kind of joined together. And then the girl that I was originally partners with ended up moving to Portland. So Erica and I just went on and did this by ourselves. And yeah, it's been super cool. A big part of the restaurant, in addition to awesome plant-based food, is that we're zero waste. That's a really important aspect of it. And that's gotten us a lot of publicity, and it's just something that's different than what's going on. So a lot of the community has really rallied behind that and is super excited about it.
I can imagine, especially, being in a place like Hawaii where we are trying to be, very eco-conscious and make, good decisions, especially when it comes to times like this in COVID. Tell us, how's it going, Alexa? When you opened your restaurant in 2018, is that correct? Yep. May 2018. So it's only been a couple of years, and here you are, you've just opened, it's all exciting, and then an international pandemic comes along to ruin the party.
It's, as far as operationally, it hasn't changed us in the sense of being zero waste. We haven't changed anything. We continue to serve our dine-in food on reusable plates and reusable, forks and stuff, just the way that we did before, since we've been allowed to be open for dine-in. And before that, when everything was takeout for that short time, we just wrapped things in tea leaves, locally grown tea leaves, which look a lot like banana leaves or ginger leaves. And that's how we've been doing everything since the beginning. So that's what we do for sandwiches and burritos and wraps. And then for things that can't be wrapped up, we've got these really awesome containers that are on deposit. So they're metal, they don't look disposable. People take them, they pay us $10, and then they bring them back and we give them $10 back. So they're just being borrowed basically for free, which is a great system.
Yeah, what an excellent idea. I don't go out much recently, and that's only just because of the lockdown and stuff, very limited where we can go out to eat. But one thing I have noticed, Alexa, is that since the coronavirus, I have to say, even in Hawaii, a lot of restaurants are using all that plastic containers and stuff that just, it kind of pains me to to go and sit in a restaurant and be served in plastic disposable plates and cups. So I am so glad to hear that. And I think a lot of people will appreciate the fact that you're trying really hard to, you know, to push this zero waste with your restaurant. Tell me, Alexa, what's the connection? You have is it farm to table operation system that you have?
Yeah, so we have a farm here that's a couple miles away that we grow most of the stuff that will grow on this side of the island. It's a little bit harsher of a climate. It's pretty hot and pretty dry over here, but some things do really, really well. Our eggplant does really well. Like we were growing enough eggplant for the amount that we needed when we were super, super busy during season before COVID. So now we're giving it away to like food drives and stuff. What we have extra, we have like an unbelievable abundance, and selling it to other restaurants and stuff. But yeah, the eggplant, habanero peppers, cassava, which we use for a ton of things, also known as yucca. Are you familiar?
My mother's actually Fijian. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
So you're used to it.
So I have grown up the Polynesian food. It's quite similar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that taro, we grow a ton of taro. Taro is like such an amazingly versatile plant as far as what it can be used for, but as also like how it can be grown. You know, it can be grown fully underwater, or where it's like pretty dry and it just doesn't even care about the brutal Lahaina sun. So we got those, a lot of the bananas that we grow, all of the herbs for the most part we grow ourselves. Papayas, we use papaya stems, which are naturally hollow as straws at the restaurant. Have you ever like seen a papaya stem?
Really?
Like the inside? Yeah. If we just pluck the ones off the tree that are brown or like starting to yellow and brown. So we don't take any of the green ones because they're still helping the tree photosynthesize. But you know, as the tree grows, the bottom ones will like turn brown and yellow. So we just pluck those off, and then just if you cut like the two sides, the side with the leaf and then the side next to the tree, and it's completely hollow. So usually they're really big and you can cut it into like 3 or 4 straws.
Really?
So that's what we use as straws, which is really cool.
That is so cool. I've never heard that before. I just, I think like a lot of people, I myself walk around with my little metal straw in case I order something and try to do it that way. But that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, we have the metal straws too, but those are great as like if somebody doesn't have one, they're perfect.
Definitely. That is so fantastic, Alexa. You know, there's so much to talk about, but I do want to send viewers who are interested in your amazing restaurant and your farm to table, you know, little operation you've got going there. So, Alexa, let's tell them about your webpage. You can introduce your webpage because there's a ton of information there, and I found it really, really interesting. Not to mention, I need to like sit with a towel or a handkerchief because I keep drooling every time I look at your webpage. Your food looks amazing, and I'm not just saying that. I think anyone that goes to mokuroots.com is going to get a shock when they see the food. It's vegan. It's just unbelievable. Tell us about your webpage.
Well, yeah, we've got the food, we've got the menu. I've got some blogs on there that are just mostly like a little rant kind of comedy forward, which is sort of how I communicate just in my regular life. I
like the way that sorry, I was going to say, I like the way you write because it sounds very natural, very raw, and you're not like, you know, pretending to be something you're not. So I did enjoy your blogs.
Yeah, I have a tough time filtering even when I want to. I'm always trying to channel my inner Bill Burr, which is like my favorite comedian. I don't know if you know him, but
I do. Yes.
Okay, yeah, he's great. So yeah, we've got some of that content. There's a couple recipes on there. You know, we use very like local specific ingredients. We use macadamia nuts for all of our like nut-based things, which if you were on the mainland, you'd probably sub them with cashews. And I don't know exactly if that's like a 1-to-1 swap out if people were to try to follow the recipe and not use mac nuts because they're, you know, absurdly expensive if you're somewhere else. They're still pretty expensive here. They're still pretty expensive on Maui, but they're way more expensive somewhere else. My friend in New Zealand who used to work at our restaurant, she actually started our like dessert program. She's amazing. And she was talking about trying to buy bulk mac nuts, and it was like $75 a kilogram or something. I don't remember what it was. It was absurd. So I was
Crazy.
like, yeah, 2.2 to pounds to like US dollars, like making the conversion. I'm like, that still seems really high.
Yeah, expensive. But you know what? I always say to people, the amount of money, not to mention everything else, saving the animals along the way, the environment, when you're talking about vegan food and you do pay a little bit extra for it, think about how much money you're saving at the same time, because, I'm quite happy to pay a little bit extra for gorgeous, locally grown Mac nuts for sure. And I have to tell the viewers about this thing that I found on your webpage and on your Instagram page that I'm going to fly to Maui just to try this. It's a Snicker cheesecake, something like that.
Yeah,
that is like so wicked.
It was the newest cheesecake. Yeah, it was really good. I haven't had a Snickers bar in forever. I don't exactly remember what they taste like, but what I usually use as the base of the cheesecakes is like young coconut meat. So which you live here, so you're probably pretty familiar with the different ages of coconut meat. So it's like that rubber texture. So it's young. It could be like blended into a yogurt kind of consistency versus making, a coconut milk. So that's kind of the base. We also use the pulp from making mac nut milk. So if you were to make like a nut milk, what you strain out, which is like the defatted nut, but it's got kind of a ricotta texture. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So it makes it a little like lighter and airier than it would be if you were using like the whole, mac nut or cashew or whatever kind of nut that you're doing. But I added a little oat flour, which kind of has a nougaty, like I was researching, like oats have like a little bit of a nougaty flavor. So yeah, that was like the base was my normal cheesecake, like plus some oat flour. And then just peanuts and some vegan caramel and some dark chocolate on top. It was pretty dope.
That is so creative. Like I just looked at that and thought, my God, if that was available here, I would probably have to eat it every day and not even think twice about it. Alexa, you did prepare some photos of some items on your menu. So let's take a look at a couple before the break. Here we go. What's this one? I'm not sure if this is the Snickers cheesecake.
That's the brownie one.
The brownie, and this is a cheesecake as well?
It sure is. And one of the things that I love to do, and it just astounds me to like hear of other restaurants not doing this, like when you have something left over, not figuring out a fucking way to use it. Like we had brownies. So we make brownies with homemade coconut flour, which is like the part that's left over from making coconut milk. And we just dehydrate it and then blend it up. So it's super fine. It's great coconut flour. And it's a way like to not be discarding that part of the coconut after we make coconut milk. So it's just part of like, the food aspect of the zero waste, not the plastic aspect of zero waste. So we make these brownies, but we haven't been making so much coconut milk because its shelf life is really short since COVID. Things are just less predictable. So we've been like basically just using mac nuts instead of coconut because the shelf life is longer. So we haven't really had time to make a ton of brownies, or we haven't had the coconut flour to make a ton of brownies. So we had a couple left over and I was like, well, I'm not going to put like 2 brownies out for sale. So I just put them in the freezer and I'm like, I'm going to do something with these later. And then I was like, let's put them on a cheesecake. Like, why not? We'll make the crust out of it.
Genius.
So we're always trying to use whatever we're getting rid of and figuring out a way to be more creative. I always recommend people do that like with their trash, not necessarily compost, but like, you're trying to create less trash, like actually, do a little bit of a trash audit and see, okay, I'm throwing this away a lot or whatever. But we do the same thing with our trash is pretty dialed in. We have like a tiny amount of trash that we create a day, and it's basically just gloves that are required by the health department. But
That's
as far
amazing.
as and then our compost, we compost all the food scraps and stuff. So, we try to go through that and be like, well, what are we tossing a lot of? So we've been experimenting with some avocado seed flour, which I've been doing a little bit of research on the uses for that. We make pineapple cider vinegar with the peels and the core of the pineapple that's otherwise unusable. You can, we have some fire ants on the farm. So we've been taking like the citrus peels when we juice lemons and stuff and putting water in them. And then it's kind of like a fire ant repellent, like on the farm. So
Alexa, before you go on, we do have to take a quick break. There's just
Sure.
so much to talk about with you. It's fascinating. Everyone, stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break and be back with Alexa from Moku Roots in Maui.
Aloha, I'm Krista Stadler, the host of Nonprofits Mean Business 2 on ThinkTech Hawaii. Nonprofits Mean Business 2 investigates the operational challenges and costs related to managing nonprofit organizations, while encouraging our viewers to find a nonprofit organization that you're passionate about in our community. We are streamed live on ThinkTech Hawaii bi-weekly at 12 p.m. on Thursdays. Thank you so much for watching our show. We look forward to seeing you then. Mahalo.
Welcome back, everyone, to Lillian's Vegan World. I'm here with the awesome guest from Maui, and she is co-owner of Moku Roots, the vegan and vegetarian restaurant in Maui that strives to run a minimum waste, zero waste restaurant. Welcome back to the show, Alexa.
Thank you.
So awesome to have you on. We were just talking about ways that you are reducing waste in your business, and it's just amazing. I completely support people like you, and I can understand why the locals absolutely adore your establishment. So tell us more about your farm. Is it open to the public, or do you allow volunteers to come in and help, or are you guys just running it yourselves?
We have like a farm manager, and then we've got she probably has like 4 people maybe that are like part-time employees that work, I would guess, in the realm of like 20 hours a week. It gets pretty hot in the afternoon, so they kind of stop at like noon.
I know. I completely understand the don't work too hard thing in Hawaii.
Like, or don't get sunburned. Don't get too sunburned.
True. And that cocktail hour gets earlier and earlier as the summers get longer. So
yeah, especially during COVID.
Yeah, especially, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Is it near your restaurant, the farm, or is it located nearby?
Yeah, it's quite close. It's like 5 miles.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I had someone on my Instagram commented, and I wanted to ask you, Alex Simone 88 wanted to know if you would be or plan to do any cooking classes.
Yeah, we are planning on starting some of those. I was kind of doing some menu ideas that I would want to do. We could do like a whole vegan cheese class, which would be cool. So that's going to be one of the ideas. Probably the desserts, so like the cheesecakes would be something that we're interested in. And then our head chef has a sushi background, so doing like a vegan sushi cooking class, with everything down to like making the rice and how to slice the vegetables, and obviously how to roll them, and the different ways to do sushi is one that people would be super stoked about.
Definitely. I would be into that. Is your head chef Japanese?
He is not.
Okay, interesting background. How nice. Let's take a look at some more photos, because I have to show these to the viewers. Tell us about this dish, Alexa. Can you see the photo?
Yeah, I can. Okay. That is my favorite thing in the world to eat. It's an Ethiopian dish, so it's injera, 100% teff injera, so it's gluten-free. And teff is an amazing superfood. I don't know. Are you familiar with Ethiopian food and injera?
I am not actually. Teff I am familiar with, but I know I need to go out and try some Ethiopian. I saw this on your Instagram, I think. Yeah, tell me a bit more about the dish.
So the injera, which is like the bread, it's sort of pancakey, but a little bit spongier. And you ferment it for 7 days or so. I've been fermenting it a little bit longer. And so it's got kind of a sourdough taste. And then there's like red lentils. This one has split peas and then sauteed collards. And then I can't quite tell. Oh, it looks like the potato, carrot, cabbage, like traditional stew that they do. And then like a little salad in the middle. So it's served more or less the way that you would expect if you got like the veggie sampler at an Ethiopian restaurant.
That looks so good.
It's the food that makes my soul feel fed.
I know. I can, and you just want to get into it with your fingers, like get down and dirty with that plate.
I did like a 1 day fast last week, like, which was not a big deal. And then the next day I just ate like just some greens or whatever. And then the following day was the day that our injera was ready. So you really have to time it, because it's like from start to finish, it's like 7 or 8 days. So, you know, when it's ready, you gotta serve the meal. But so I was just like eating it at home, and I hadn't really eaten too much for like 2 days. And I was just like, had this like euphoria as I was like shoving it in my mouth, like every bite. I'm like, how does food taste this good? You know?
I can imagine. That's just that's mouth-watering, honestly. I do have to ask, what are your hours at Moku Roots? Are you allowing people to dine in, eat in the restaurant these days? Or?
Yeah, Maui's still allowed to have dine-in. So it's just, you know, more or less limited seating. We have like 4 tables inside, and then we've got 5 or 6 tables outside. So it's substantial seating in total. And we are open 10:30 to 3, Monday through Sunday, every day. And then Fridays we're also open until 8 p.m. So 10:30 to 8, we do like a good happy hour from 3 to 6 on Fridays with music usually. And then like sushi specials and stuff for dinner. It's kind of a sushi forward menu, but we serve the regular menu as well.
Nice. Are you serving alcohol there?
We sure are.
Okay. I was just asking for someone.
Yeah. Yeah. And happy hour, we've got $4 beers and hard seltzers, $5 wines, and $6 cocktails. The wines are vegan, obviously, and they're on tap, so they're zero waste.
Wow.
So it's a beer and a seltzer, and then all local spirits.
That's amazing, Alexa.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go there. I'm definitely gonna make a trip once we're allowed out of prison.
Yeah.
Here, but
your prison looks really nice, though.
It's a nice prison, I must admit. Let's have a look at another one of your photos, Alexa.
Oh yeah, the collard wrap. So collards are another thing that are phenomenal on our farm. I didn't think that they would like the weather here as much as they have, but they're huge. I made a video the other day of like how to use a collard green as a burrito. If you like fillet out the stem, kind of, it's on our Instagram if you want to check it out. You like fillet out the stem, and then you can just wrap it up like a tortilla. They work great. It's like the absolute best gluten-free tortilla ever. They hold up way better than any other option.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that you're doing gluten-free as well as vegan. I mean, you've really covered all the tricky people.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, I guess it's fortunate. I did a food allergy test like almost a year ago, just because my stomach always kind of hurt a little bit. And then I found out all of these like potatoes I was allergic to, which I was eating like in mass my whole life, you know. And then gluten was another one. So I have in the last year like cut out gluten entirely. So I've gotten way more into coming up with gluten-free alternatives. I do really like making bread still. I just don't eat it, but I really like to make it. Nice. We make great bread at the restaurant.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, we make all of our own bread.
I'm gonna like fast for about a week before I come and visit you guys, and then I'm gonna stay for a week.
But the first day, your stomach's gonna be like this big. You're not.
I know. Yeah, I should be doing the opposite, like really eating a lot before I get there, so that it's nice and stretched out.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's fantastic, and what a great idea, using that as the wrap instead of, you know, a regular flour tortilla or something. So much better for you as well.
So good. They're so good.
What is your Instagram name?
Moku Roots, MOKU, and then Roots spelled normally.
Is there, what's the meaning of Moku Roots? How did you come up with the name?
Moku means island primarily. It's got a number of names in Hawaiian, as many Hawaiian words, have like a variety of connotations, but that was kind of the meaning that we went with. And our menu was really designed around locally grown ingredients, especially like canoe crops such as taro and breadfruit. So it just seemed like a good fit.
I don't mind breadfruit. I recently had to play around with it when I was writing my book. But I just hate cooking with that stuff.
Really?
No, I mean it. I like cooking with it, but I don't want to actually cut it open and prep it. Have you got any tips for breadfruit? How to prep it? How to cut it open?
What I always do, unless we're using it for something raw, which we'll do if it's really, really creamy and like super mature, where it kind of feels like a water balloon when you grab it. What I was always showed to do was cut off the side with the stem, like just a little bit at the end, so it'll sit flat like on that side, coat it in olive oil and put it in the oven for like an hour, and then it'll roast it and you pull it out and it's like perfectly the texture of a baked potato.
I know, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I lived in Japan for 30 years. Prior to that, I'm from Australia. And I'd never really used breadfruit. I'd never eaten it until I came here. But it is surprisingly a really delicious thing. This humongous thing you don't expect to taste creamy and like a potato, but interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have it on your menu, the breadfruit?
It's really seasonal. So when we have it, we make specials with it, but it's not anything we can get consistently throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's have a look at another one.
Yeah.
Of your photos. Beautiful.
Ooh, the Moku bowl. So that's another one of the new additions to the menu. It's a bunch of local greens from the farm, organic quinoa, garbanzo beans, black beans, microgreens, herbs, local tomatoes and cucumbers, and then a really dope, like spicy pink aioli that's made with mac nuts and like mac nut based.
That looks so amazing.
It's really good. The whole thing was inspired by, I went to this other restaurant, which I'm not going to name, with a bunch of people who eat meat, and they were like, oh, we got to go here. They got great cocktails and whatever. And I got a bowl that was sort of like that. And it was just completely void of flavor. Like it had nothing. Oh, and there's also miso eggplant on there, which I forgot to mention, which is super good. But it was just, they were like, how's your food? And I was like, it tastes like somebody who doesn't eat vegan food made it. Which turned into this whole thing of like how, how's your vegan food taste at whatever like chain restaurant? Like it tastes like somebody who doesn't eat this food made it. Which if you're not going out and you're a chef and probably went out at some point, and I'm sure you've had this experience a million times. But so I was like, we're going to make a bowl that's kind of like it, but super saucy and just like packed with flavor. And it's really, really good.
I mean, all your food looks amazing. And you know what? The other thing I'm noticing is that it looks like it's going to really fill you up, which is important, because a lot of restaurants that serve vegan food that are not vegan restaurants tend to think that a little bowl of lettuce is going to suffice. So, this is a great example of what vegan food should look like. It should look amazing. Taste is important.
Yeah.
And also the volume, we want to eat as well. And because we're eating a lot of,
Yeah, I just posted this meme that I made that was like one of the girls that works at the restaurant. I photoshopped her out a little bit, but she's this little teeny tiny thing. And she had this giant like taro burger. We do a burger of the week. So it's like our homemade taro burger with like loaded with a bunch of stuff. And this one had like avocado and roasted jalapeno and red bell peppers and like lettuce and tomato and all these sauces and stuff. And it was just like dripping out the side. And it's like, yes, we can, yes, we can. And then like this like just terrible, underwhelming looking salad in like a styrofoam clamshell that was like, no, we can't.
That's so funny. Look, please stop or I'm going to die. No more photos for all the viewers. Don't only go to their Instagram and webpage and Facebook, which is Moku Roots, but go to Maui. Go to Maui and try it. I'm going to see you as soon as the things settle down here. Come and visit you over there at Moku Roots. Alexa, it's been awesome having you on the show. Good luck with everything. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay awesome.
Thanks, you too. Thanks so much for having me. And
Thank you.
Hopefully you get over here soon.
Would love to. Thank you for everyone for watching. See you next time on Lillian's Vegan World. Aloha.